Ooh, I've got a secret that if applied is going to instantly make you a better protector. It's instantly going to open up your skills as a shooter, as a fighter maybe. You want to hear about this secret? The secret's been written about by some men or women for thousands of years. In fact, the man that wrote this was called Socrates. Socrates wrote, "Know thyself." As you know, I've got expert handwriting. Know thyself. I love that saying so much I put it on a t-shirt. What did Socrates mean? People have written about what they think he means for thousands of years. As he talked about this, I want to think for a minute about you being here with me. Let's just imagine wherever you're at, I transported you here with like Starship Transporter. Bam, you're here with me now in the office. You don't know where I'm at. You've never been here. And I said, hey, friend, I want you to go to Mount Rushmore. Mount Rushmore is about 1,000 miles away from me. I want you to go to Mount Rushmore right now. You would say, okay, let me get my phone out and look up a map. Nope, you don't get a phone. No phone, no GPS. Go get a map. The number one thing you would need to do, besides looking for where Mount Rushmore is what? You'd need to know where you are on that map. You'd need to know yourself. You would need to know where you are. I am blessed beyond measure to be able to train with awesome people constantly, from a student perspective, from myself being a student, but also from the perspective of being able to go share the knowledge that was passed to me by all the awesome educators, instructors. And I'm not just talking about shooting, maybe from a physical standpoint to a mental or even spiritual standpoint, being able to pass on some of the lessons that smarter men and women have passed on to me. I feel blessed beyond measure to do that. And oftentimes the hiccup or the stumbling point that I see for people is they have a hard time visualizing or just stepping out of themselves to see where they are on the map that is our life. See, we all have a goal. In the case of my analogy, the goal was get to Mount Rushmore. I like Mount Rushmore. Your goal could be become a really good shooter. Well, what's a really good shooter? You need to identify that. Maybe you want to lift a certain amount of weight with the deadlift. Maybe you want to get a certain belt in jiu-jitsu. Maybe you want to get a certain job. Maybe you want to get the girl or the boy. Maybe you want to get a girl and a boy. Maybe you want to achieve anything in particular. One thing I know is it's pretty easy to identify that goal. It's easy to say, I want to be able to shoot a bill drill in 1.9 seconds. I want to be able to deadlift 500 pounds. That's pretty impressive. I want to be able to run a mile in 6 minutes. That's pretty impressive. But how are you going to get there? If I don't go to the weights, if we went next door in the office to the weight room and we just stacked a bar up with 500 pounds and I tried to lift it and I couldn't, maybe I want to try 100 pounds and see how I do with that. Maybe I want to see what my form looks like. Maybe I want to try to ensure that I can do the 100 pounds correctly before I try to do 2 or 3 or 4. And I'm not just talking about building in steps. I'm talking about knowing where you're at. Because if I don't know where I'm at, I can't plan a proper course of training, a proper course of action. And that training is not just how I draw the pistol. That training is not just showing up to class. That training is how you prepare your mind and your heart. The challenge with knowing yourself is being open enough, openness, and being empathetic with yourself, right? It's often really easy for us to look at others and be empathetic towards them. I'm guilty of this. I have an easier time being empathetic to another than I do towards myself. We oftentimes beat ourselves up. That's not healthy. That's not healthy at all. I understand that you and me both, we have a lot of pressures on us in life. Adults do. Kids do too, but adults do more so. We beat ourselves up, and then that takes away from us getting to the goal. Because now instead of us focusing on the endeavor to get to Mount Rushmore, or to get to that deadlift, or to get that next belt, or to get the job, or the girl, or the boy, or whatever, we're spending our time in our head, beating the shit out of ourselves, going nowhere. So here's the challenge to you. To properly know oneself requires us as adults to objectively be able to step outside of ourselves and see ourselves for who we are, good, bad, right, or wrong. To accept ourselves for who we are, good, bad, right, or wrong. In that, now we can start to plan, man. We can take action. I think a great way to get good at that is to begin to empathize with others, because if I can empathize with you, I now can apply that same skill to myself. To empathize, to literally care about you, what you're going through, what's going on in your life, what you think, what you feel, etc. To care, to genuinely want to hear about you. Are you genuinely looking within to what your body's telling you, to what your mind, your soul, your spirit is telling you? I'm not trying to get all hocusy-pocusy on you, but I can guarantee you this: if you ignore yourself, you definitely are not going to know yourself. And if you do not know yourself, most of the time that you spent trying to educate yourself is wasted, because you are spending so much time developing a narrative, a yarn, right? A story, which is counterproductive. So here's the end of the lesson. Give yourself a break, man. Give yourself a break to grow, to listen, to rest, to think. Give yourself the opportunity to take time to absorb information about you so that you can learn, grow, etc., to get to that goal. Does that make sense? Maybe read some of the ancients, Marcus Aurelius, Socrates, and the like. Maybe start to expand about the things that they were listening to. Those people maybe didn't know about all of the things we do with technology, but imagine how much time they had to reflect without all of the things like the communication you and I are having now to distract them. Very famous psychologist said, silence, there it is the element in which great things fashion themselves together. I do believe that was Thomas Carlyle. Silence is the element in which great things fashion themselves together. They didn't have airplanes or cars. They didn't have all of the electronics and all of the amazing amount of stressors that we pile on ourselves back then when guys like Socrates wrote and thought. They have something to teach us. Why is it that so often now in this modern world it has become sexy for people like us to go out and backpack, or go for a walk, or go canoeing, or better yet, get a tiny house, live off grid, do all of these things to minimize life, or rather to minimize the things in our life so that we can actually enjoy, to feel, to reconnect? Know yourself. That is my challenge. And in doing so, not only will you become a better student of whatever it is you are studying, be it the pistol, the open hand arts, be it medicine or engineering or anything else, but you are going to enjoy the life that you are training so hard to protect. And isn't that really the goal? I don't want to get good with a pistol for the mere sake of being good with a pistol. I want to protect myself because I dig living. And I know you do too. Know yourself. Don't be dickheads. Tell somebody you love them. Hey, tell Drew in the comments thank you. He works hard or harder than all of us. Love you guys.